All right, so why so serious? Episode 2. I've got Joey back with me, and a mutual friend of ours, Shane. Um, Joey and Shane have been friends like for fucking ever. Right, guys?
Uh, yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, like for since the beginning of time.
yeah, pretty much.
And that's where I met Shane. Shane's a pretty decent friend of mine now. I'd say a pretty fucking good friend of mine. I'd say pretty decent. It's kind of stupid.
Yeah. He's my homie.
Yeah, yeah. And so Shane, like what is it that you work what? You work at a grocery store, right? You're in the deli. I think that's what Joey said last time, yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually a manager for the deli department of the grocery chain I work for.
Oh, the grocery chain. Holy shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I specifically work in one store, but I can work anywhere. Like, they move me around as needed, to help out and, train people, things like that.
You know what? I think I remember you telling me that before. I just couldn't remember like whether it was one store, but I didn't know it was a chain. That's pretty impressive. Like, look at you, fucking big balling.
Yeah, well, we just migrated down to where I live, I don't know, about eight years ago. I think they opened the first store here, and we got like 45 stores total between this and two states.
Okay, yeah, right on. That's awesome. Again, I didn't know it was like you were that sort of high up in the on the totem pole of your work. That's really cool, dude. That's awesome. It's impressive.
Thank you.
So you and Joey known each other a long time. Like any idea, like in the age range that you guys met? I mean, was it teens? Was it
Oh
younger?
God, I was 18.
Hmm.
18.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all fucking ancient now.
Yeah, I was like 13, 14.
Yeah, he was
something
like
that.
13 or 14.
You were 18? Jesus, Joey.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck
Yes,
is wrong
well,
with you? Hanging out
He's a
with
pedophile.
little ass kids.
I'm a pedo monster, dude.
No, stop. That's not even funny. Don't say that. It's funny, but don't say it. No, that's so bad. It's so bad.
Well, see, what happened was we had such a huge age range of friends. Shane you were hanging out with Eric, weren't you, at first? Yeah, and I met him through Eric, and to be honest, like, you'd never guess Shane was fucking 13 years old at the time. Like, not at all.
Nah.
I was gonna say in general, he seems like a pretty like like the word I want to use is put together, but that's not quite what I mean. He like a certain amount of logic and maturity that's involved with just like the core of his personality. That's just what I caught like from the year that I've known him now, but even from the beginning there was just a certain amount of like yeah, we make fucking like yeah, he makes toilet humor, but doesn't everybody? But I mean, there's still like a certain measure of like I said, logic and maturity that's involved that seems like beyond, So I can imagine that being if it's feels like such a core to his personality that even as like a young teen, he'd still probably had that.
He was probably the most street smart person I ever fucking knew for a 13-year-old. It's fucking
Well,
ridiculous.
I think that goes back to his logic though, man. Like
Yeah.
street smart requires fucking logic. You gotta be pretty smart and a quick thinker, like logical. Like you may not do logical things, but it still requires a certain amount of like, causality, like knowledge.
Yeah,
and
and it
understanding
was
of
funny too
causality.
because like the way we ended up hanging out and like him being my right nut to my left nut, like Eric just fucking disappeared one day, didn't he? Like, wasn't that what happened? Like Eric just stopped hanging out with everybody.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Shane called
getting
me
some
up and he
shit.
was just like, "Yo, so Eric's like not around, and come pick me up." And I was just like, "All right."
Yeah, and that's 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 all she wrote. Man.
That was it.
And that was the long. That's the long and the short of that one.
Yep, ride or
Pretty
die
much.
every day since.
Is there?
Nice, very nice.
So since we're reminiscing,
Oh boy.
Go for it. Go for it.
so I get a text message from one of mine and Shane's mutual friends the other day, Brad, which you know, we all love and hate Brad at the same time.
Yeah.
He's a cocksmoker, and at the same time, he will fucking die for you, you know, at the same time. So, anyway, he says, "Hey, guess who I ran into today?" And I'm sitting here like, you know, it could be anybody. And he goes, "Andy Luft."
No way, dude.
Yeah. So he says, I gave him my phone number. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because, you know, Andy hasn't spoken to any of us, what, in 8 years now?
Yeah, almost 10 years.
Yeah. So, guess who gets a phone call that night from the man himself?
Oh, man.
Yeah, he fucking called me. He's like, what's going on? And he said, Brad told me about all this stuff. And, you know, he went into detail about, you know, how Brad explained to him what happened to my dad and what happened in my personal life here with my ex. And he's just like, dude, I'm so sorry I wasn't there. Like this was genuine Andy coming out. And I'm just like, you know how mad I was. I was pretty fucking angry because he was one of our ride or dies for the longest time until he decided that he wanted to go disappear for some pussy. And but he was pretty genuine. And like the next day he texted me, and today he texted me. So I'm like, well, maybe he's actually like for real. Like, I don't know. I mean, either way, it was pretty fucking. We sat here and reminisced about like all the dumb shit that we did, all of it, just everything. Oh,
That's pretty awesome, though.
The copious amounts of stupidity. I mean, I've just caught a mere fraction of it. My imagination is strong enough that I can fill in the dots as to like what kind of insanity ensued.
so much.
Like, it's just unbelievable the amount of dumb shit that we got ourselves into when we were younger.
And we didn't get caught.
Mm-mm. That's where the street. Yeah, we didn't die, and we didn't get caught. That's where the street smarts came in, because you know, we we managed to get away with everything.
Yeah. Well, fucking. You know, I just remember being a dumbass kid. I mean, I still consider like my early 20s being a dumbass kid too. So
I do as well.
I do. I did a lot of my dumb shit in my early 20s.
Yeah, same here.
Yo, it's just so ridiculous, like how life is, and like it's so weird too how when as you get older, and you get a kid, or you have multiple kids, and how that changes you, and how you realize like all the it even more sort of strengthens these things that your parents told you. You know what I mean? Like you understand that they were clearly looking out for you, and you're just like, you're just trying to fucking control me. And but that wasn't. I mean, they were trying to control you because they didn't want to make some of the same dumb mistakes that they made.
I'm gonna disagree with you only because I'm an exception to that rule. My parents never did that for me. Not one time. My dad, he seriously let me experience life.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah, you know, like he never was like, you know what, dude, like, don't do cocaine because that's bad for you. He never did that. He would always like, if I came home and I was lit, he'd be in the, you know, the living room, and this motherfucker's got a beer meister, you know, he's drinking and having himself a good old time, and I'll walk in the house and he'll be like, yo, you're lit, and I'll be like, uh-huh, and he'd be like, are you okay? Yeah. All right. You're not doing it outside in front of cops, are you? No? Oh, all right, good. Well, just don't get fucking caught. That was it.
The spirits of my parents were, but like my mom specifically would always, you know, she told me, you know, not to get involved in this shit, obviously. She said, but if I did, you know, don't ever let her know. I said, all right.
Well, I mean, my parents, they I mean, we probably shouldn't talk about this because then something comes up and they're like, "Oh, your parents were awful fucking parents, child abuse." Like, fuck you, get out of here.
No,
Um,
dude,
Not at all.
but I mean, my parents with the partying stuff, like, on the most part, my parents didn't care.
yeah,
They just didn't. They were like your dad was, Joey. That's how
Mhm.
my parents were. That's how my parents were. They were just like, um. And honestly, my parents were like, "Hey, if you want to drink, you can just stay here and drink.
yeah,
Like, you don't have to
yeah.
go
That's what my
anywhere."
dad
Like,
did too.
and then, but see, what I told him, I was like, "Yeah, but I can't have my friends come over and drink." And they're like, "Oh, yeah,
Right.
that's true. That's true. You can't. But I mean, it's always a thing. Like you can, um, you can chill and you can chill here and you can drink." And so like
Yeah,
that was a thing. It was a
that
weird
was the
thing, but it
thing.
was a thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. My dad would
So
always
so like
do.
I understand that. I just mean like life decision stuff. I'm not
Well,
necessarily talking about. I'm not necessarily talking. I mean, but it's different, I suppose. I didn't think about it.
it
Like
is
people have different.
because like
People have
my
different
parents, when like my mom,
life things.
she never really handed down advice. My mom was always the coddler, which
Oh
I guess
shit.
I can admit that kind of is where that whole emo Joey thing comes from. To be honest, no, I mean
Emo
let's
Joey.
call a spade a spade. I do kind of get into my
Yeah.
feels sometimes, and that's where that came from. Because my mom would never be that parent that was strong. She would always be like, "Oh, well, are you okay, baby?" That kind of mom. And my dad would just be like, "Fucking nut up, motherfucker."
Well, you're still
Yo,
alive. You're good.
Did you learn a fucking lesson?
Yeah, no. I tell you what, my
Did
first
you learn a
fight that
lesson?
I ever got into, I don't know if Shane remembers this or not, but I beat this kid's ass in school. I was told not to do it by the principals, and I fucking did it anyway because I was so pissed the hell off at this kid. Um, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I don't want, you know, people's personal information going out. But I had to call my
You're a
dad.
fucking bully.
Yeah. No, this is the one and only fight that I had ever been in school, my entire school career.
No, I got you, dude. I was just.
They
go
made
ahead.
me call my dad, right? And dude, I'm shitting myself because I've never been in trouble before, like at all. At that point in time, not once. I was squeaky clean. I never touched drink. I never had a drug. I never smoked a cigarette. Never did anything wrong. I was always the good kid, get good grades, go home on time. The whole nine. I fucked this kid up bad. So I'm shaking in my fucking shoes because the principal's like, "You're gonna call your father and you're gonna tell him." So I'm like, "All right." So I call my dad. My dad sounds pissed off on the phone, but he doesn't say much. He just has that raspy, God damn it, So after school, he meets me at school. So I'm thinking I'm gonna get my motherfucking ass handed to me because he is sitting next to my fucking car in the parking lot, waiting for me to come out. I walk up to his truck and I'm like, freaking the hell out. And he goes, "Did you kick his ass?" I said, "Yeah." "So you didn't lose?" "No." "Do you see any marks on my face, Dad?" "No." He says, "What'd you kick his ass for?" I said, "Well, I was fucking with my girlfriend at the time." He goes, "Okay, you're not in trouble. I'll see you when I get home."
Huh. Yeah. I mean, I've got a fucking mouth on me, so just constantly people were always trying to fucking fight me when I was a kid. Like
I can see that.
you guys know me, man. I've got
Yeah,
a fucking
I can
mouth,
see that.
right? Like
You do.
yeah, I don't deal with nonsense, and like as a kid, there's a lot of nonsense. So I'm like this logical thinking kid, and like I just don't understand why people are doing what they're doing. But like even still, I mean I'm still pretty thoughtful about things, and like I mean I was kind of caring as a kid. I understood. You know what? You know what? Now that I think about it, I was probably actually more of a sociopath when I was a kid because I just like I didn't understand people's emotions or feelings, but I understood that they existed and how they worked. Right? I got it,
Right.
so I could play along. But on the most part, I was just like I was a cold ass kid. Like I didn't really fucking care
So you were
about
Matty Ice
anybody or
forever.
anything. Yeah, like, well, that's why I said that before. Matty Ice forever. That's me, man. Yeah. So like, but like people wanted to. I mean, as you can tell, people wanted to fight me all the time. I didn't get in that many fights, and not at any point was there ever a clear winner because, like, okay, I'm not like a huge guy now, but like I was pretty much the same size as everyone then, and so like there, I never had a fight where there was like a clear winner. Like at any point, any fight that I've ever had, there was never like a clear winner. I remember I got one of my friends so mad, and I remember this dude's name. I'm not gonna say it, but I remember this dude's name, and he was one of my favorite people because we were both into video games. He could draw really well, like comic book characters and stuff like that. And I'd hang out. I'd go over to his house all the time. But one day on the bus, and what his family life seemed kind of fucked up. Like I recognized that then, but like one day I said something, and he just flat out punched me right in the eye.
Wow.
Just like, yeah, I said something, I don't even remember what, and I just remember like seeing stars. Like I didn't even remember where it came from. Like I
Damn.
just remember and like sitting on the bus, and all of a sudden I was seeing stars.
Well, shit.
But I mean, again, you guys, I mean, it's not that I'm mouthy. I just don't deal with stupid shit. When people act stupid, I smell blood in the water, man, and I gotta be like, hey, I have to let you I have to let you know that I think you're being ridiculous. I shouldn't say stupid. I shouldn't say stupid. Like you're being ridiculous. But I can't say much because I'm a pretty fucking ridiculous person.
It's so great.
It's so weird. Like
It
it's such
really
a
is
I don't
that.
know I don't know if it's dichotomy or hypocrisy. Like I can't tell you. I can't tell if I'm just being a fucking hypocrite or what. I don't know.
I don't have an answer for that one.
Like,
There's no
yeah,
there's
there
no
is no
right
answer. There's no right answer, dude.
There-
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's just you can't you can't explain it. It's like, what the fuck, dude?
I know we actually had a friend. Well, we have a friend like that, a mutual friend, me and Joey, and he was a mouthy little sumbitch, and
Brandon?
Yeah, that was it. That's the one.
that would be the one. And he loved to run his mouth, but man, I don't know how many times he watched this kid get his ass kicked.
Oh my god. And
And, like-
9 times out of 10, it wasn't even the person that he was like, it wasn't one of the friends or part of the group of our friends. It wasn't somebody else. It was always one of us.
Yep. Yeah, he always
Yeah.
for some reason enjoyed the confrontation amongst us, and it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, we will all kick your ass. Stop it.
Just stop it. Just stop it right now.
Seriously.
And like he was just, and I guess I mean I get it because I kind of see where he's coming from because me and him were the youngest amongst all of our friends, so you have to realize like we got Joey and a couple of other buddies. I mean, we hung out with big dudes. Like,
Yeah.
these are big cats that we hung out with. So if we got mouthy, we're
Right.
like, whatever, dude. We've got this brick wall behind us. What the fuck's gonna happen to us, right? But
Yeah.
he was the one, for whatever reason, like, before anyone thinks we're like bad friends or anything, this is how it works. If you're gonna talk shit, you better be able to back it up.
Back it up.
If you can't back it up, that's on you. You're gonna take the ass whooping. We're gonna go and have a couple drinks or do whatever, and that's the end of it.
Yep.
But if someone, would come at us, that was different. We defended our shit, but not if you're out running your mouth for absolutely no reason at all. You're gonna take the ass whooping and deal with it.
See, that's I've always had a weird sort of thing about like family, friends. I've always had this interesting concept of like, because you're just saying, like we defend our own. But here's the thing, like I've always had this idea that if your friend is acting like an idiot, you have to let them get their ass beat the first time, so that they
Well,
understand.
that's what
that
we
they're
did.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean
You
that's
know
how
what I
we
mean?
rolled.
Like, but then, I mean, if it continued to be a thing for no reason, like it was just getting egged on by the other person, then it was time to fucking lock it down. But I mean, otherwise, like you have to let your friends and your family make mistakes so that they understand. Like it's like, yeah, I got your back. Like I'm gonna be here to pick you up after you get knocked down by this, right? Because that's how we roll.
Yeah.
But and like if this continues to spiral out of hand, you learned your lesson. If you're gonna keep mouthing off, like I'm not gonna I'm not gonna sit here and like I'm not gonna stand in front of you. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna take what's coming to you. But like if he just is gonna continue, like if this person's gonna continue their shit, then yeah, I got your back. Like no problem. But like we just have to make sure that you understand. Like you fucked up. You took what you took what was coming. Like let's just get around this. Let's get over it. So because I was always such around here, anyways. It was so fucking cliquish. Even when I lived in Connecticut, it was super cliquish as well. And I was, of course, always on the outside. It was like every other month. It was uh
See,
kick Matt's ass. Like
Matt needed to
month.
live near us because we were like the outcasts that nobody wanted to hang out with, and we all just got together.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I don't know what it was when I was a kid. I can't remember. Like I said, I just remember being like, I don't want to say a sociopath because that sounds so strong, but it was like I just felt so disconnected from people. I didn't understand why people acted and reacted the way that they did because I had such a logical way of thinking about things. So it's
But
like it was different for me. I don't know.
as we all know, people, there's not a lot. Like you're the minority of people in general. Like people don't think logically very often.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some things that make me think illogically. Oh my god.
But for the
like
most part,
the thing,
you think,
the thing we were talking about the thing that we were talking about last night, Joey.
yeah,
Yeah, like that.
yeah.
That
Which
makes me illogical.
I think that's a male trait thing. Like in general.
It's not just a male trait. I mean, females do the same thing. Like
Yeah,
we
it's
we get like well, it doesn't even it's not male, it's not female. It's just like it's just the
Human.
nature of it's just
Yeah.
human nature. Like we get nutty over each other, whether you're homosexual, whether you're heterosexual. It doesn't matter. Like we get nutty over each other. Like that's just how we work. That's how we're wired. That's what it seems like. Like we're just
Yeah.
hardwired to be that way. It all stems from this built-in chromosomal survival stuff, like we have to breed to keep the genetics moving, like make our chromosome. I don't know how deep it goes, like our genetics to survive. I think they call it chromosomal or some shit like that, but I can't remember. I didn't do any research. I just know what I've heard. And that makes sense to me, built-in instincts like
Yep.
that are animal, it's just built into your coding, like, reproduce. Because as far as like the natural world goes, without tools, we're nowhere near apex predator status, like we
Right.
have no natural, we're really weak in comparison to most animals of the same size and weight as us. Actually, there are animals that are half our weight and far more dangerous. Like there are some of the larger cats that are in like the 90-pound range. They would destroy us
Mhm.
without tools. And so, but we have intelligence, which allows us tools, which allows us more strategizing as well, as opposed to just instinctual movement based off of like completely off of life experience. Like you had to have lived that experience to really be able to. Now they do say that there's some kind of genetic memory, but yeah, it's all built into that. Like our way of surviving as a race isn't by being big and strong, being the most terrifying. In the early, it was just like to fuck a lot and to make a lot of babies, and that's what would keep us going. So. Anyway, so before I end that,
Yeah, no, definitely though. You're right.
I believe I've lived up to that expectation.
Oh yeah.
Shane the Breeder.
That's it, man. That's how I do it. Doctor told me to get a
I
hobby.
I don't. told me to get a hobby, so I thought I'd bang my wife a lot.
Yeah, precisely.
It's a good hobby. I mean, I'm not hating.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
Kept me
just
in
that's
trouble.
another thing. That's another thing that I don't that's like the concept of marriage. I'm not saying no to it. I'm not saying no to like having more kids, but it's just like for me, that's not what I feel is for me. Do you know what I mean?
It's not
Like,
for
sure,
everybody.
I want to be with somebody but I want it to be. I don't want it to be like we're getting together to be a family, but it's just like we're getting together to enjoy each other until we fucking die. Because I mean that's the inevitability, you know. We're gonna end someday, and like I just want to find somebody who wants to spend that time with me. And like I said, it's not about raising. It's not about settling down and raising a family. It's not about not settling down and raising a family either. It's just like that's not what the goal is. It's just to be with somebody who is into me like I'm into them, and we just want to fucking spend time together.
Yeah, just be cool with each other, hang out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the ultimate goal. I mean, even when you're married, dude. I mean, that's the goal. You know, like me and my wife have been together for a while, and high
Yeah.
school sweethearts. You know, like we're going on. It'll be 13 years this year we've been together. So it's like
52 years.
Yeah, it's like 52 years. And like
Pretty
but
close.
it's the same way. Like I love hanging out with her. She's my best friend. Like it doesn't. I don't know. We have that same feeling. It's just we're married. It's the only difference.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome, man. I'm
Yeah.
like really happy for you, and not envious, but that's something I look up to, and I think that's really great about you. You know what I mean? Is that you have that, you found that. Of course, your wife has got to be something fucking special to put up with your ass.
Yes, she is. She is a very special woman.
Because we're a lot alike, and I'm a fucking asshole.
Yeah, I'm a bowl of fucking nuts.
Yeah, no, it's. Wow, they really are promoting Cesaro. I'm sorry, like I see my Twitter feed. I should probably not look at it.
Social media.
Well, like
takeover.
Cesaro just like suplexed Miz and fucking what's his name, Sammy.
Zayn.
Like both, yeah, Zayn. Like they were like all clamped up, and he suplexed them, both of them.
Yeah.
Cause
I'm gonna watch that later.
What's his name got knocked? Yeah, I shouldn't probably say anything then.
Oh, I don't care. Spoilers don't bother me.
I want to see it. I want to see it. I don't know what this revival with like just being so interested in wrestling. I think mostly it's like the athleticism and the physiques that I see in it, because like I'm like weightlifting, bodybuilding's like strength lift, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Strength training and like bodybuilding stuff like that that's strong into my interest. And then to see these guys who are like just like doing cool stuff and throwing each other around. I mean, it's not UFC. Again, UFC is a different feeling, because like that these guys are really trying to that's like real sort of life or death feeling struggle with UFC. Right. But like wrestling is like, it's entertainment. It's like, yeah, UFC is entertaining, but it's not for the sake of entertainment. Like it's
exactly.
Like I mean, sure, they're trying to push it as entertainment because for some reason humanity is sick and we love to watch people beat the shit out of each other.
We really do.
I mean, like it just makes me think. I think back to like fucking Rome, gladiatorial events, and I mean, I'm sure there's many more societies beyond that have done those sorts of things. It's just it's so weird to me as you think about it. Like, man, we watch people beat each other up, but they watch people kill each other, like for real. Wow.
I mean, like, it goes back to what we were saying just not that long ago. It's that primal animalistic instinct. Like, this is what they did. This is what animals do. Like, if you go out in the world, animals are out there killing each other to survive.
Yeah. You know what? I think we have such a strong disconnect from that there's a part of us that craves that connectivity to the natural world of like it's complete chaos and it's natural selection out there. It's like the strongest are going to and by strongest I don't necessarily mean like physically the most powerful, but I mean I kind of mean physically the most powerful. I just like the ones with the quickest wit and the most powerful streamlined bodies, like these kind of animals that are made to to fight and survive. Like, yeah, I think we on a very primal and basic level of our psyche, we crave that connectivity to that. And watching, like, even just watching like football or watching hockey, watching baseball, you still kind of have that. It's still, it's not as strong as like watching um like wrestling, or like even to an even like more powerful extent, the UFC. Like, we just have that connectivity to that, where it's like that primal instinct in our brain that's just like, oh, I'm a fucking animal. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Straight up, man.
yes. Yeah, like we have that. That's a conversation we had, what, just the other day, right?
Yep.
Because for some reason I always tend to have like these really interesting. Of course, I catch Shane in the middle of the day when no one else is on, and I've had time to sit for like 5 hours lifting weights and just being stuck in my own head. And so I'm like, oh, Shane came on. Well, I'm gonna start talking to him. Well, it starts out light. All of a sudden, like we're having an existential conversation.
Mm-hmm. That's usually how it goes.
I run heavy here. All right.
Go big.
I
or
can't
go
help
home.
it.
That's
I
true.
can't help it, man. It's like, it's like I've got to talk existence. It just feels like, I don't know. Like, I don't do small talk. I can't. It's just not my thing. Like, I hate it. I hate small talk, and I hate having that same conversation over with people. You know, like, you ever have somebody that you're trying to like you're trying to talk to all the time, like you're trying to message them, like text or Facebook or whatever message, and it's just, you just replay the same conversation over and over because they never get into a conversation with you, right? So, like, it's always that, hey, how's it going? And then it essentially really goes no further than that. And you're just, you're like, I'm really trying to have a conversation here. Like, why aren't you gonna connect? And you're like, well, I could call them, but then, I mean, I don't always like to talk to people directly.
See, that's kind of like I ignore people like that. I'll wait months if one of my friends is like that, and I won't talk to them, just so that I can force them to talk to me. If that makes
Yeah, I
any
suppose
sense.
there's that. No. I mean, I get that. I get that too. I mean, completely stopped. It's funny because I've completely stopped talking to people because of that, and they'll be like, and then they'll make an off comment about how we never really talk, and I'm like, I mean, I tried to initiate conversation. I like, cause people ask me questions. They're like, well, how you doing? And I'm like, well, I mean, I'm physically okay, but I'm feeling pretty turbulent emotionally. And then I try to, like, at least be, and then I'm like, well, hey, how are you? You know, how are things going? What's up? And it's just more than like the, hey, how you doing? I'm okay. How are you? Yeah, I'm okay. And then, like, I'm always trying to have a little bit of a deeper conversation about it because, I mean, depending on who it is, most people that I'm having that conversation with, like, I actually genuinely care. Like, if I say, hey, how are you? I genuinely care. I literally
Right.
want to know how you're doing. I don't want you to tell me I'm doing okay because that's what you think I want to hear. It's not an obligatory. I'm not asking an obligatory question. I'm asking because
Absolutely.
I genuinely care what's going on with you. But a lot of people, it's just like the obligatory question, the obligatory response, like, how you doing? I'm okay. How are you doing? I'm okay. I can't do that. I cannot even I can't engage with that, you know? So when I try to bring it past that, and then, like, they're like, well, we never talk. Like, I'm like, hey, well, why don't we ever talk? And it's like, because we never talk, but I've been trying to have an actual conversation with you, you know? But, I mean, my means at this point, I can't come hang out, you know? I can't just go
Yeah.
and hang out as much as I'd like to. So, like, we're going to have a conversation. It's going to be, and I don't have my phone right now, you know? Like, my phone's shut off, so, like, I can't have that conversation either. I can't just call somebody up, and it's like, I'm trying to get people. I'm like, hey, do you have Skype? Like, we could Skype call, you know? So,
Right.
like, so it's just like, well, I mean, I don't really like to text. Like, find a way to talk to me then. Like, you have a means. You can come see me. Come see me. I'd like to hang out. I'd like to talk. I don't know. People are so weird. I just,
Yeah, they can be.
like, human interaction is strange to me. Like, on the most part, because again, like I said, people, they usually just do the whole, It's just the whole, like you have the obligatory question, obligatory response, obligatory question, obligatory response. Conversation is pretty much over at this point. Like, I don't want to hear from people that I care about, that I actually
That's just that brainwashing
enjoy.
shit. That's why people do that shit. It's just what they think they're supposed to do. Like, that's not conversation. Like, no, especially like people nowadays with all the social media and shit. Like, it's fucking retarded, dude. Like, what happened to going outside and talking to your fucking friends? You know what I mean? Like,
Right?
Yo,
Whatever
like,
happened
okay,
to like
so I
going
like-
over to their house?
yeah.
Well, I like social media because if it weren't for social media at this point, we wouldn't be friends and we wouldn't be interacting.
It's not bad.
So I
Social
mean,
media
there's
is
a
not
certain
bad
amount of
thing.
like. So there's a certain amount of like social media is amazing, but there's also like because of the
a human
speed of
disconnect because of it.
there's a human disconnect, but it also involves the fact like the speed of information and the speed of communication. Like I can text you, and you can text me back right away. Even if we don't want to have an actual like vocal conversation,
Right.
we can still interact directly, and it can be quickly, right? And then with like then you have things like Twitter, but with Twitter and you can put stuff out immediately, but it's really small. It's like really short burst. So people have gotten this like